Welcome to a special. We're in Train Sim World 6 today, and now we're in the lovely Trans-Pennine range here. Now we're going to be operating a lovely train. As you can see, we're going to be coming out of Dewsbury. We're going to be stopping at Huddersfield, Stalybridge, rather. I'm going to get that wrong, don't worry. And it should be pretty fun. Like I said, it's a neat little region. It's going to have a fun little thing. And of course, we have ourselves the Class 101 DMU, which is just a fun little train here with all sorts of little bells and whistles that makes it a little obvious, or a little different, to say the least, kind of a thing. But like I said, I kind of like things like this. So it's the first time we've attempted to do anything like this, so I'm kind of curious to see sort of how it comes out, kind of the interest that people are going to have in it. This is a particularly interesting route, of course. Like I said, very, 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 very important, basically economically, to all of the United Kingdom, kind of a thing. And this train is interesting, and we'll get a little into the train itself a little bit later on. I like how it was already in, but it wasn't in. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So what do I know about trains? I do not know much about them. And I know that sounds like kind of not a contradiction kind of a thing, but keep in mind, I am no expert on these things. I understand the general concepts. I understand things of gauge. Never really had a model train set as a kid or anything like that. And most of my encounters with trains were on actually journeys in the United States, trying to visit, lady friends and, Virginia and stuff like that. In the U.S., of course, trains are interesting. Like I said, the culture is not quite what it used to be. When you kind of look back in the 1950s with Wild West with the big steam trains being chased down by half the Cherokee Nation and stuff like that. That was kind of the typical sort of view of it. And then when it kind of gets interesting, at least for me, is when you actually move into the 50s and 60s and you start seeing the F7s and things like that. And you get the whole concept of, we're going to be going to California or something along those lines. And you start getting those double-decker trains. And one of the things I always really liked was you got those kind of 1950s PSAs where they're warning about level crossings and stuff. And that was kind of my interaction with it. The other use, of course, I have with the trains. Whoop. We're going to go ahead and give it just a blast of that to slow us back down. There we go. Got to pay attention to what's going on here. This is a tricky one. This is the Saturday special, which is kind of a mixed thing. And you'll see what I mean when we get there, because as you can see, we have a lot of grades to kind of navigate today. And that's what kind of makes it fun. Very, very sharp-eyed people will probably point out the fact that I'm sitting here in fourth gear. And you're like, oh, you should be in first gear right now. And not necessarily. It really comes down to what the situation is. And we're going pretty flat right now, so we can take advantage of basically the fact that we don't have to do anything. Fun fact about this transmission, from what I was able to gather, is it basically is always pulling. So even when I have this in fourth, I'm actually still applying torque to everything. So I have to kind of let it kind of do its thing. And don't worry, we will get up to speed. We have to basically clear all these signals here. I'm going to pop the throttle down to here. We're going to pop it into second, and here we go. Now, one of the fun things with this train is, boy, does it like to spin its wheels. You would not believe how aggressively this thing spins its wheels. We got to watch out because there's a signal at red coming up. We have the approach aspect, if you prefer. There we go. All right, now we can go. We're going to drop that to idle. We're going to pop this back into third. Give it a second, and let's go. Just kind of concentrating. We got a little bit of maneuvering to do here. One thing I like to do with this train is open the windows. Of course, then I have to reduce my own personal volume so I can hear myself think, but that's a different issue. The clack clack is just so mesmerizing. There's no sanding on this train, so if this were a nice, nasty, wet day or snowy day or something along those lines, we'd be all over the place. And I promise you I will get the braking buttons backwards at least twice. There we go. All right, let's hit it. Fantastic. Kind of enjoy 1980s UK East Coast kind of stuff kind of come down. I did a little bit of research to try to find out some things about this line, but I'll get to that a little later. Like I said, I am not an expert on these things. There are folks who know so much more about this stuff, which I'm hoping will help us out in the chat a little later on today. But we'll kind of see how things kind of shake up. Like I said, this is the first attempt I've ever done to do something like this, so it should be interesting. This one is one of my favorite locomotives, as I've stated before, because it's just so weird. I like stuff that's weird. I like stuff that's complicated. You know, I'm mostly I'm mostly blowing stuff up virtually sort of a channel here. And a lot of that comes down to, I like its complexity. You know, that's just the way my brain works. Technology is just fun for me, kind of a thing. One of the things I find really interesting is we have the really, really classic AWS system on here, but we have no items on the actual track which trigger them. So it's just kind of one of those, oh, we're really, really, really going to have to pay attention here, because otherwise we're going to get a SPAD. If we do get a SPAD, I apologize in advance. We'll go grab the Isle of Wight or something to finish up, kind of a deal, because that would just be depressing. I'm very curious to see what this is going to shake up. This is quite a mountain range here. And there is the approach warning. Thing is, we just got up to 60. Yeah, a little bit more than that. Like I said, you want to be able to get enough reduction in speed so that if you do have to stand on the brake, you can stand on the brake pretty hard. And yeah, I should be keeping it in fourth, but I want to be ready to accelerate at a moment's notice if I have to. Come on, signal. Come on, signal. This is so dangerous. I can't see the signal. Take a more aggressive reduction here. Nope. That's a big old red light. Ah! I'm getting ready in case it changes, but I don't think it's going to change. Worst part is we're on a grade here. Boo. Boo. Boo, signaler. I know the signaler's got a... Signaling isn't fun. And if we have time later on, I'll open up SimSig and show you how complicated this rail line really is. Oh, there we go. Hit it. Yay, signaler gets a prize for me. Dude, we're on a hill, man. We're on a hill. Don't do this to me. There we go. On the way. That was fun. That was fun. I wonder who we're chasing here. Of course, we are the Saturday special train, so it kind of doesn't surprise me that we run into some complexity here, because we're an extra train. And one of the fun things is they think about Saturday specials or whatever, and it's they call about day trippers, and of course I think day trippers, I think the Beatles. And oh my gosh, you got me on the hill. Ah! This isn't a bad grade, though. It's only 0.8, is nothing. I'm feeling it, though. I know there are wonderful experts out there who can do these entire rail lines without ever, you know, using like the display at the top of the screen. But I declare amateur. So it is what it is. And yes, there are some really fun little videos of this train back in like the 1950s and 60s when they came out. And, you know, they're walking through, you know, you got to count to 2 seconds and everything like that after making a change. The English countryside. This is one of the most British things other than curry and tea that I can think of, is riding a train in the countryside. A little kind of footbridge there. This is quite a climb. I'm actually kind of surprised by this. And I think we're coming up, actually, no. We're coming up on a station, but that one's not for us. Now, a little bit of history of this actual expansion here. This is one of the, I think it was the 3rd UK route to come out for Train Sim World. And by come out for Train Sim World, I'm referring to the fact that this is the OG Train Sim World. This is not the one that we're playing. This is Train Sim World 6. A lot of people have had some interesting opinions on it, and we gotta slow down. About 10 inches should be plenty. Nope, more than that. I figured the grade would have helped slow us down here. don't love the brakes on this thing, but I will absolutely 100% admit that, I knew that was going to happen. Do not love the brakes on this thing, but for the record, they are very easy to like tweak. It's you know, like a lot of trains, like they're like you have like 3 or 4 brake settings, and you just kind of click it into the brake setting that you want it in. This thing, like if I want 19.7 or whatever, I can get exactly 19.7. Good morning. And that's kind of neat. I actually like that about these. You want to see something really weird? In England, headlights don't illuminate tunnels. It is a known train sim world thing. I love that clack, 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 clack. When you're sitting there reading a book, watching the world kind of go by on a train like this and hearing that kind of sound effect, it is like the most mesmerizing thing you will ever experience. Hey, at least they didn't make it an 18 speed, right? Have enough of that. I'm just concerned because when I finally get through this mountain range, I'm going to be coming back down the other side. We're going to be ripping. Like how the speed, you know, I've got 70 miles an hour on the speedometer. I want to use all 70 miles an hour if I can. It's kind of fun to see. It's completely black back there. So in this game, if you speed for a millisecond, you can't get platinum. So I'm going up. Oh, I'm going down. That makes much more sense. Again, I have no sense of like the walls or the angles here. I am literally in the dark. So it makes it a little bit more challenging for me. Because one of the things I will do is once you start getting a little more grade in, is I can put in like 1.5 inches of brake, and that's plenty. I think, what is it? Cornwall, which is probably one of my favorite lines because it's just the right length and it's just pretty. One of the fun things with that one is some of those hills is you have to go down to like 16 inches to keep it from accelerating. It's just, it's a lot of grade. There we go. I don't want to put too much power in because, like I said, it's just the tail of the train's going to catch up to us in a second here when we get to the bottom of the... Oh my god, look at that corner. Ho-ho! We're going a little quick for that. Fortunately, it's banked. We're fine. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Give me like 18 inches here. There we go. About 18. It's such a beautiful region. Like, I love stuff like this. It's just relaxing. I'm not flying airplanes. It's fun to drive trains. Surprised I didn't hear the little womp 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 as we go by. It's all good though. Yeah, I need a little bit more than that. There we go. We actually have to stop in a little bit, and that's an approach again. Whoa! Problem is we're coming downhill, so we have to actually be pretty aggressive with the brakes here. Interesting thing is doing the full service and actually hitting all these stations. That will take you a hot second. I'm gonna come down to like about 30 miles an hour, because like about half speed seems to be kind of the sweet spot as far as if you need to get going again in a hurry. At least for me. And again, everybody's different, and without actually having somebody who drives these things professionally, we don't use this class of train anymore, but that's okay. It's tough. It's tough. You only know what I read. And I need a lot more brake than that. The interesting thing is this... Oh, no, a lot more than that. The interesting thing with this train is... whoa, there we go. Whoa, too much. Sorry, concentrating. Anyway, the interesting thing with this train is depending on what expansion of Train Sim World you're actually operating on, you're going to get a different experience with the actual train itself. This particular version has, I call the fast brakes. The version that you get on the West Coast main line, the one I want to call it Leeds. I'm probably wrong on that one. It's a very different experience. The brakes are very fast, and they also leak. There we go, coming up on our first stop. What I like to say is, whatever your speed is, look at your yardage. That works well for me. You also don't want to be hitting the edge of the platform any faster than 30 if you can help it. There we go. That was actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good. Not my finest work, but like I said, I'm no expert. All right. Ew, we're 23 seconds late. Nope, there goes the English economy. Boo. Oh well, something happens. So one of the things I like to do is when I'm just sitting here at idle, is I will release the brakes up to about 15 inches. Like I said, you don't need too much here, but bringing it up that far is going to give you just a little bit more giddy up, gets go kind of a thing like that. The other thing you want to do is get yourself in first gear before it actually... Oh, I was a minute early. Never mind. I did a good job. But when you only have a few seconds to go ahead and jam it into that. Don't forget to close the doors before you go, though. Got it! That's a couple victory honks right there, I should say. Greatest feature of all horns that are not American. American horns emphasize volume and irritation. Everybody else emphasizes cool sound effects. Pop it in a third. You really are supposed to let it go down. There it goes. Anybody ever hear Rush? I can't do YYZ on it. That'd be fun. I just hope that we get better signaling for the rest of this, because we've had to earn it today. Fun thing is, if you change it out of gear too quickly, what'll actually happen is you basically just rev the motor and nothing happens, like it doesn't engage. It's kind of neat that they worked that detail out. You can see us just ripping along here. This is quite the Saturday special. Look at the length of this thing. Oh, you want to see something cool in the 101? We're all connected with these big, massive, like, data link cables. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I see it. I see it. I got excited. I'm not getting platinum on this one. I blew it like 20 minutes ago, so... And yes, I'm very bad on the passengers' necks. Whoa! Whoa! We should have gone slower than that on that one. I think it was bad on my neck, and I usually don't care. Watch this. Hit it! All right, now we can open up the taps a little bit. I pushed the wrong button. So one of the things I was looking at over the holiday here was the idea of getting myself one of those like desktop controllers for the trains. Unfortunately, I'm on everybody's favorite keyboard and mouse, which is cool. But one of the things that Railways had, the one that preceded this one, kind of a thing, Railworks, whatever it is you had like the little levers on the screen that you could grab the things that you really needed to grab easier. Unfortunately, for this one, we don't have that feature. So, like, if you get the key, like, one off, or, like, your brain reverses it because, like, you're used to a different locomotive or something like that, it just makes you crazy. So it looks like we're actually going to be able to get up to full speed here. And one of the wild things is, if you look here, this is a 4-across rail. This is extremely, extremely heavy stuff coming through here if we have that much rail. And, of course, we're not exactly what I considered this one. Oh. Good morning. Morning, Felipe. My Portuguese is not good. I know some Spanish, but can't help you there. But I shouldn't even comment on that. But welcome. Welcome. You can see that we're absolutely redlining this thing right now. Like I said, I paid for the whole speedometer. I intend to use it. Gotta be a little careful here, because it's going to be coming down to a 50 in a second. And at 70 miles an hour, that's a lot of kinetic energy we have to deplete. It's just a bummer, because we finally got going. Nope, that's good. Actually going to come up to about 10. There we go. That's going to be plenty. Yep, that's plenty. I could basically coast. I like how if you play the tutorial missions in this game, it's like, you should coast. Coast, coast, coast. Coast to coast. And it's like, then don't make your timeline so restrictive if you want me to coast everywhere. Come on. There it goes. And we're going uphill here, so I do not need to touch anything. This is good. I like this. This is actually not a bad one. There are some timetables, like, I really, really like the Fife line, for those of you who know Central Scotland, or just Western? I'm going to get it wrong no matter what I do. Oh, we're going down, that's why. I did not see that. I should pay more attention. I said, I am definitely not perfect. Just kind of milking the accelerator here. We're going uphill now. I was like, yeah, it does not feel like downhill anymore. Oh my goodness. 1.4. Whoa. Yeah, we're not getting up to 70 miles an hour anymore. That's for darn sure. Love these little, like, bits here. Anybody ever put, like, shotgun shells and pennies on train tracks? Don't do it, please. There we go. And off we go. And the interesting thing is, let's see if I can cheat here. You can actually see how we kind of did our little bit here, and now we're kind of transferring to the middle. About 1/4 point, if you're looking for time-wise. All right, looking good. You people happy you can see again? And the interesting thing is, this morning I'm sitting down to do like my research and stuff like that. I'm finding it hard to, like, it's a lot of concentration. Like when you fly, you could just kind of put the autopilot on, but the signaling and the speed changes really keep you busy. I hear the diesel sounds very angry at me right now. There's nobody at that platform at all. I don't know if you just caught that. Still going uphill here. I'm amazed the engine's got the pull for this. We're just about 70 miles an hour, and the thing is just now starting to get grumpy at us. But again, we're capped. We're governed, so we can't go any faster than that anyway. Uh-oh. So double yellow means the next signal is an approach. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Regards. Hey, Travis. Sorry. I gotta be careful here. Let's see. Travis, to answer your question, I have played Derail Valley because Derail Valley was one of the only train games I've ever seen that is actually VR. And not only is it VR, but I think not that it was built for VR, but you could definitely tell that's what it was good for, and that's what it's best at. My problem with Derail Valley is I found it very, very, very difficult to basically dispatch is the best way to describe it. And I know when I first played it, things were a little different compared to what they are now. I gotta slow down. Hang on. Gotta drive the train first, talk second. Actually, I gotta stop in a second, too. I don't think we're gonna get to the station. Full stop, full stop, full stop. Hold on a second. I'll get to you in a second, Travis. Oh my goodness. You are gonna let me into the... Ah, you suck. Boo! You're gonna hear me say that a lot today. Anyway, Travis, Derail Valley, sorry. We gotta... Let me come to the station first, and I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'm not getting up to 40. I'm lucky I'm doing 14 at the moment. Give me a second. Anybody else get the issue with sticky controls? Hang on. I'm doing my thing here. Once we stop, I'll have a chance. Like I said, just give me a moment. This is way more concentration than I was expecting. Sorry. Welcome to Huddersfield, by the way. Feel the transmission go. What was that for? There we go. Woohoo! And we're a minute early. Okay. Now I can answer some questions. Here we go. So, Travis, I do enjoy Derail Valley in VR. It's one of those things in like small bites. It's actually like, it's a ton of fun. I really like what they did with it. The one thing I will say about it, though, is, like I said, the dispatch aspect is very, very challenging. There are mods that address that, which make it a little bit easier to do. But just that's kind of my general comments on it. Hey, Killer Sham, great to see you. How do you know the ideal speed into corners and when to start braking? Oh, Felipe, welcome to the hardest question in the world. I don't want to be mean and say experience, but that's true. But the reality is, when it comes to braking, you really have to know three things. You have to know how heavy you are. You have to know the condition of the rail, and you have to know your grade. For example, you notice I'm slightly uphill here. And the reason that works well for me is I know that if I have to brake, I can brake later. If I'm downhill, I can brake sooner. Likewise, if I have wet rail, all your braking distance is essentially double. The trick that I use that kind of works, like I said, I'm no expert. Trust me, no expert here. That kind of works for me is what I will do is I'll see my distance to where I need to stop. And basically that's my maximum speed in miles per hour. So if I know, for example, that I need to stop in 700 yards, for example, or 700 meters, I will start braking basically at about 700 out if I'm doing 70 miles an hour, if that makes sense. Let's go. Sorry, too many things going on right now. Sheffield. Yes, 30 miles per hour when you enter the platform is a fantastic piece of advice. The only thing I will say about the 30 miles an hour entering the platform is it's going to come down to the style of train. And let me explain why. Uh-oh, here we go again. Oh man, look at this tunnel. This is terrifying. Also, we're going uphill here. So the 30 miles an hour rule definitely applies to modern trains. Like if you're in an EMU or a modern DMU, that's fine. You will have no difficulty coming to a stop. This train is not a modern train. This is very much vacuum brakes, and it is slow. As you can see, even when I really, really stomp on the brakes themselves, you can see that it takes a concerted effort to bring this thing to a stop. Now, if I'm like I said, especially the modern EMU, especially the Deutsche Bahn trains, those things are fabulous. They will stop on a dime. Likewise, if you're doing one of my all-time favorite routes, which is actually Waterloo, well, basically the London Underground, that one's so much fun, but you can do 30 like halfway down the platform and hit the brake and still stop too early. Like it's incredible. Oh gosh, we're going quite a hill here. If you see me constantly fiddling with the release on the brakes there, it's because I just don't trust myself. Get going a little faster here. It's all right. It takes me a second. Like I said, I can't see anything, so it's very disorienting for me. Oh, I love this tunnel system. This is so cool. I just wish I could see. Other comments I will say on Derail Valley. I like what they did. I really, really like what they did, but it needs a little more polish. You know, there's games that it really takes a long time to play, and Derail Valley is the textbook definition of a game that takes a long time to play. This, if I want to do a 54-minute timeline or timetable, which I'm doing right now, I'll be done in 55 minutes. Derail Valley, I want to move one train from X to Y. It's gonna be a while, even though the actual driving the train is, you know, fun and everything. I also don't like their progression system. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on that one. They think that's like the best part of it. But for me, it's I just want to be able to skip it because I don't have time for it. What does the P stand for in my name? Train Sim Classic. Oh, sorry to say, Killamashon. Train Sim Classic does not work on my computer. It worked wonderfully. I got a new computer with a big old video card in it, and it just does not work. I got a black screen. I spent hours and hours trying to fight it and try to get it to work, and I could not get it to work. So I said, forget it, and I bought Train Sim 6, and I've really appreciated how smooth everything is. But I'll get to that in a minute. All right, Josh. So you have a 50-50 chance. Is my first name Paul or is my first name Phil? I'll have to try to think of other P names, but you get one kind of a thing like that. You get to try. Which one is it going to be, kind of a thing? Look at these great bridges. This is so awesome. You don't get stuff like this in the United States. Oh, Pat. Oh, I'm not a Pat. I am definitely not a Pat. I get Paul a lot. I get Paul. I'm a Phil. I'm a Phil with one L. Not a Phil Lip. It's a Phil Ip, if you're looking for it. And the fun thing, too, is basically, before I had a chance to create an actual brand for YouTube, I accidentally basically used my regular name because it's what I uploaded it as originally. And kind of got stuck with it, but that's fine. It stands for Phil. And like I said, my family name, for those of you who know, the Isle of Wight, which is one of our options for this game, which I think is cool. Gatcombe County. And they have it with an E. We got rid of it when we came to Ellis Island, kind of a thing. Kind of fun. Whoa. See, I looked up at the chat. This is an incredible grade, but this thing is effortlessly climbing it. I am so impressed. And again, we're 6. We have 6 in this consist here. That's amazing. And we're going to have to slow down again. 30 miles an hour. I hate the idea of slowing down on a grade like this. That sucks. Somebody was asking about braking distances earlier, and when you're in a grade this steep, you can brake pretty late without really any consequence. Yeah, I don't have a 4K monitor. I don't have a 120 hertz monitor. I have a huge monitor. I have 3 monitors. Is it going to change? We can't be wrong on this. We've come so far today. I can't. Boo! I told you I'd say boo again today. Oh, it turned. Boo! That's almost worse. Whoa, no. I gotta wait for the gear to engage. I got excited. There we go. We lost so much momentum. So, speaking of train games, I think we have a quiet moment here. I cut my teeth on Microsoft Train Sim years ago, and I remember the first time taking a steam train through a tunnel. So for those of you who don't know what happens, it explodes, essentially. And basically you get backblast from the where your coal and stuff goes into the boiler. And I didn't know that, but it's one of those things where I'm like, wow, this is more hard than I thought. But more hard because I was probably a little bit younger, obviously. Unless I'm a time traveler, who knew? But that's what I cut my teeth on. And then, of course, the game that came after that would have been the classic, Train Sim Classic is what people call it now. But I love that. And I bought like the initial package and it came with like, oh my God, like probably like the Cajun Pass. It came with the East Coast Main Line and it came with like one of the Deutsche Bahn rails, kind of a thing like that. And that's what I had. And of course, the East Coast Main Line is where I did all of my work. Like that's where I learned to operate, the Deltics and the 47s, the 37s and stuff like that. That's just what I know. And it's just kind of funny because like, I'm an American, obviously. And it's like, oh, you should be doing all these things for like Metro North or like F40 PHs and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I obviously don't live on the West Coast. So it'd be pretty early in the morning. But that's just what I know. So when I get an opportunity to do Train Sim World, I'm like, I'm going to stick with what I know. Yeah. So believe it or not, there is a open source version of Microsoft Train Sim out there. So I think it's called Open Rail. So if anybody's looking for an opportunity to basically do some railing stuff without having to pay for it, like I said, that's a great way to check it out. I love the countryside. It's just so cool. Again, I have been to the UK, believe it or not, now. Okay, so I have a green signal here. I have a go signal. Everybody sees it, right? Y'all see it? But I can tell I'm coming up on an approach in a second. So I don't know what the deal with that is. It should... Oh, actually, we have no double yellow, so I'm not going to worry about it. But absolutely, and I love that. And between playing Train Sim Classic, again, this would have been like 2008 kind of Train Sim Classic, and playing Train Sim World, the two other games that came along for those of you. Obviously, Derail Valley was a big one. And Derail Valley, like I said, very cool. It's a pure VR game. And if you play it in VR, you will be absolutely 100% satisfied with it. Like I said, it is a little slow going, and that's one thing I do not like about it. Here we go again. I have to work for this today, and there's no way that's going to be green by the time I get to it. Sigh. But between, like I said, that one and this one was obviously trains with a Z. I might spad here. I might spad. No, 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 no. Please don't. We've had such a good day today. Nope, we're good. We're good. The grade saved me. Thank you, grade. Whoop. You can look at my windows here. Oh, man, I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. Sorry, everybody. Not paying attention. This is quite the grade to stop me on, guys. Come on. Oh, one of the things I also love about UK trains is I love the signals on a stick. I know it's like whatever, but like I just think it's great. Come on. Come on. I imagine no actual UK train driver in the world actually does what I'm doing right now, where we basically go rum, rum, rum. Sort of like an American in standard. Coming up to the stoplight. Ah! That's my unhappiness. We can ask them. Can we go? No. Okay, guess we're stuck here for a second. That's okay. That's okay. So this... Oh! Okay. Mr. Signaler, you are just like... You're mean. Ah, this is such a hill that gets stuck on, too. And here's the thing. We should never disrespect the signalers. They have one of the most stressful jobs in the universe. And I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, like I said, I cut my teeth on Train Sim World, and then there was Trains with a Z. Trains with a Z is still an awesome game. I don't care what anybody says. They've come up with a couple different versions and generations of that game over the years. And I am consistently impressed with it. It is very easy to make your own tracks with it. It is very, very easy to kind of do your own. That is such a scary signal right there. Like, even though it came off the accelerator, it scared me so well. Look at how beautiful this is. This is so cool. And yes, I'm speeding. There we go. But Trains with a Z is a really neat game because it has my all-time favorite train track on it, or rail or route or whatever you want to call it, and that is Port Ogden in Northern. So for those of you who've not heard of that one before, you are missing out on a piece of, in my mind, train sim history, because it is the most interesting, like, it's like somebody took a model train set, said, you know, it would be better if this were 1,000 times bigger and more complicated, and just went with it. And it was a trains route. It was a Microsoft train simulator route, for those of you who've not checked it out. There's a new version of it. I cannot remember the name. It's got a new name. It's not Port Ogden anymore. It's something else in Northern or whatever. But it's awesome. It has, you know, the ferry where you can get your train off. It's got the logging. It's got the desert. It's got the passengers. It's got the cities. It is just awesome in every possible way. And it's absolutely my all-time favorite route. Love it. I love the East Coast Main Line, especially like the 1950s and 60s in the here in the UK. Over in the United States, obviously the home team. I love, there used to be for Train Sim Classic, they had one that went from like New Haven up to Springfield. The scary thing is I've ridden on that train line, which is just neat. I've also been on the Northeast Corridor, which is, it's always late. Just kind of one of those things. You can see me constantly fiddling with my brakes, but that's just me. But back to what I was saying, Trains was awesome. I love Trains. I actually played, they have an unlimited model now for like $15 a month. You get all the DLCs. So if you want to check it out, $15 is cheap. So I thought that was really, really cool. Definitely check that out if you get the opportunity to do so. The other one I took a look at too, oh my gosh, it's not coming to me right away. It's a model railroad one. It came out a little while ago, which also I believe supports a VFR. That could be fun. VR, and it's not coming to me right away. I go look it up, but I don't want to lose my thing here. But it's a New Zealand game. So if you type in New Zealand train game or something like that, I think you will find the one that I'm referring to. And again, I'm going to get it wrong for the next 5 minutes. But I played that a lot because making, like you can actually get some videos on my channel here dedicated to that game because of the fact that it's just so user-friendly. And that's awesome if you like to make, like, you know, model train sets and stuff like that. It's not like I'm going to go do a timetable or anything like that. Not like this game. Am I ever going to get out of this tunnel? Yeah, I'm riding the throttle and I'm not supposed to, but... And yes, I was really late braking. My passengers hate me. They will definitely not ride with me again, that's for sure. See, the timing on that was perfect, though. So at least I get points for that, right? What do they call it in our racing? Late braking? Oh my goodness, look at how much of a downgrade this is. Oh my goodness. Brakes. Rolling line. Got it. That's it. That's it. Check it out. It is awesome. Rolling line. If you like to do the train, like, model set building and driving's not as big of a priority for you, go check that out. Rolling line. Excellent done. Kilometer. Excellent. I won't be able to pronounce your name correctly, but perfect. Yes, it definitely is. And then my story, of course. There we go. How I got to Train Sim World. I did not buy Train Sim World when it came out. When it came out, I don't want to get it wrong, because I will. But it came out a few years ago. I was interested with it, because it looked like they brought in, like, you know, conductor mode and stuff like a lot of neat... We're really going downhill here. These are some real hills. But I just thought, you know, it wasn't for me. I like Train Sim Classic, and then I stopped driving trains for basically 4 or 5 years. And like I said, Derail Valley. Speaking of train sims, another one that I was introduced to a couple years back, which I did do a video on that actually turned out to be fairly successful. It's called Run 8. If you want to drive a train in the desert and have the highest and most accurate train physics I've ever seen so far, that is the game to check out. It's a Run 8. It's an independent developer. They have some DLC for it. You're definitely not going to get British trains. These are, you know, ES44 ACs and SD70 ACEs and stuff like that. Really big, big, big heavy cargo trains going down, you know, the Cajun Pass and stuff like that. It's the only train sim that comes to mind immediately that doesn't really have rules. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that, like, you're not going to get in trouble if you rip through a red light. That's on you if you hit something, but there's not like, you know, there's not like the overarching, the nanny keeping an eye on you kind of a thing like that. Killamarsh. I got it. Killamarsh. Okay, I can see it now. I can see it now. Neat. Got it. I knew I'd get it. But check out Run 8. Run 8 is really, 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 really well done. It is... it is definitely, it's realistic. It's like almost realistic to a fault. And you'll know exactly what I mean if you try it out. I'm trying to get like exactly like 19.5 inches here, but it is, it's trying. And again, there's no chart that you can use that says at a 0.6 at 60 miles an hour. I'm sure you could do it, but honestly, just look. And another stupid tip, not that I'm here to teach anybody how to play this game, but because like I said, I don't know. If you actually look at the speedometer, it's more accurate at telling you what side of 60 you are, so you can actually see that you're drifting past 60, so you know you can put a little bit more brake into it. Like there's 19 there. 19 will be fine. We also went up to a 0.8 grade. Now, when I visited the UK last year, because we're in 2026 now, one of the things that was on my bucket list was to take the train. Because, you know, we visited all over. And I have a whole video series in flying airplanes in that region. Notice we're in neutral at like 19.1, and it's exactly enough to hold us. But anyway, I'll stop showing off. But one of my goals was to not operate a train. That'd be cool. But to ride a train in the UK. And it wasn't going to happen. You know, just by hook and by crook, there was like a T train that was like going around Wales or something. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Let's do it. But they ended up canceling that excursion. And, you know what I mean? Just one of those things where like, so close, so close. I love how easy it is to manipulate the brake pressure on this thing. Or like at 20 and a half. Oh, 20 and a half is too much. Let me try back down to 20. Look at that, 20. I watched a really interesting video that actually dealt with this real world version of this train. And it was kind of neat because the brakes are really loud. So no exaggeration there. And we got to come to a stop in 2.9. I'm actually going to give it just another tap of brakeage here. For those of you who are keeping track of our journey there, you can see how well we've done. One of the things I really like locomotive-wise is the HST, because it's just stupid and awesome. And by stupid, I don't mean there's a bad design. I mean, it's just way faster than it should be because it's a diesel. And I think it's fantastic. There we go, right there. So what's killing me is I don't have to push the AWS button. Like, we managed to get this entire journey without it firing once because there just aren't any. Now keep in mind, it's one thing to control the speed, but it's another thing to actually do it. Now, my understanding is we would never do this. What we'd actually do here is basically slow down to 55 and then release the brakes. If I sit here riding the brakes, that's really bad for the pads because they're just going to get hot. And you don't want them to be hot because then they stop working and we're on a hill. So you don't want to, you don't want those brakes not to work. And here's the other thing is we don't have dynamic brakes on this train. So we can't actually get that extra little bit of slowdown. Now check this out. All I have to do is like come back like half an inch. Bam, right there. That's disconcerting. See, in the real world, you can kind of feel it in the seat when your grade changes. You can't really feel it in the game. Like you need some kind of visual clue. And that's an approach. Boo. I'm not going to try it. We've done such a good journey today. I'm not going to tempt fate here. So what I like to do is if you know it's going to be an approach and you know you have like a mile, like put it down to like 15 and just let it just kind of coast. Make sure it idle, by the way. That's my biggest mistake. Yeah, man. Nope, I don't like that. It'll come down to about 10. Whoop. There we go. I don't like that. Come down about 5 here. The thing is, you'll never be able to see that signal in time. Nope. That's a big hot red. Ah, boo! Sorry, everybody. I keep saying that. Ah! What a punk! Alright, here's a trick. So put it into 4th, let it engage, and just gingerly apply the power. Because what it'll do is you basically can ride it. I forget we're still in a grade here. Because it's just enough torque to kind of keep you going straight. Come on. There we go, right there. That's my honk. That's my disappointed honk. Now the killer here is where we're actually located. Sally Bridge. We just got to go real gentle here because we can't go ripping through this yard very quickly, obviously. So the interesting thing is if I actually put it into neutral, we probably wouldn't have gotten that extra little bit of speed there. Just need about 19.5. At least this is going to be a really mellow stop. You know, we would have been earlier if you didn't make me go 14 miles an hour. There we go. I have to earn this one. This is a lot of times when you play the routes in this game, routes, whatever you prefer. You have a pretty easy time of it. You know, every time you look at a signal, it's always going to be approach or green. Like you never ever run into reds. But this particular timetable, it's been a lot of reds today. And here's a catch thing you have to watch out for. I'm actually going to put it into neutral. You really got to be careful not to overshoot the end here because you'll go right past the signal. Easy. Easy. See how easy it is to go over that signal? I'm actually going to stop short intentionally because I don't want to take the chance. All right. Oh. We're doing okay. All right. Not bad today. So I believe Stanley Bridge, load passengers. Fantastic. Fantastic. We're in neutral. I'm going to go pop that back to idle. Like I said, about 15 is more than enough to hold the train. They'd probably say never to do this, but click. That's what I put it at if I'm in a rush. And we did it! And there you have it, my friends. We have the Saturday special. This was not bad. We got gold today. We didn't get platinum or anything like that. But it's a ton of fun. Ton of fun. Like I said, not bad at all. Not bad. My stop accuracy was 0.196 yards for the first one, kind of a thing like that. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this. Like I said, this is our first attempt ever at doing a live stream with Train Sim World. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put a post or something up there on my regular thing to see if somebody's interested in doing this in the future. What I will do for everybody, though, who's hanging around, is this is the stuff I have. So if there's anything that kind of jumps out at you as something that's like, oh, this one, by the way, I love Preston and Carlisle. That's awesome. If there's anything maybe I'll put together or something like that, you can check out. There's an F7. I think you know what that one is. But other than that, enjoy, everybody. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful Happy New Year, and all those other things. And hopefully we'll see you again on another stream. Enjoy.